KLIF.
KLIF Dallas. KSCS FM HD2 Fort Worth. KLIF.com.
A Cumulus station.
The following program is furnished by K1 International LLC and is responsible for its content. Now, from the 5th floor Cumulus Studios in downtown Dallas, it's time for Inside Real Estate. Here's your host, Michael Kruziniga.
Good morning, Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex. How we doing out there? Welcome to Inside Real Estate, Sports and Entertainment. It's a Sunday morning. It's the 17th, folks. Hey, it's last weekend to get your taxes done. Tomorrow's tax day. You got to get them in the mail. Of course, most people just filing online these days. A couple things guaranteed in life, death and taxes, and taxes are here, right now. Hey, hope everybody's having a great week out there. Been a great week or so for me as well. Been a lot of work, lots going on out there in the market, it's hot market, but having a little fun too. I actually got to go see the Bryan Adams concert last weekend, and quite enjoyable. If you haven't seen that guy out live and in person, he puts on a heck of a show. Johnny B. Good, he plays that guitar like nobody's business, and he just hammers that thing the entire show long. 56 years old, and he's just hammering that guitar. Good stuff. Yeah, great week. Lots of things going on out there in the market. We're going to talk about some of that today. Of course, if you've tuned in before, you know we not only talk real estate, but we do a little sports entertainment. We mix it up. We talk law, a little bit of politics, and so we always have just a good old time and a regular variety show here. And so let's get on into it. Let me tell you what we're doing today. We got coming up a little bit later on, we got Terry Wagner, our resident expert of all things mortgage. We're going to do a little mortgage and real estate talk. We're actually going to be talking jumbo loans today. So for those of you clients out there that are looking in that price range, we're going to do some jumbo talk. So you'll want to tune in for that because we've got some interesting things to talk about that you probably haven't thought about lately. And the jumbo world has changed a little bit since the last time, you know, you may have thought about this out in the past, so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk with Kevin Hamus, owner of Ideal Floors. We're going to talk a little bit of home improvement with him, and also talk about, of course, his Gives Back program. Love talking to him about that program because, you know, not only does he run a great company, but he truly, very close to his heart, wants to give back to folks. And the way that he can do that through his company is giving flooring to those in need. So we're going to talk about that program a little later in the show. And then, of course, we're going to do some insurance talk, hopefully with Mr. J.C. Harder, but we're waiting to see if he's going to show up today. And I know he's been super busy, so we're hoping he's coming in. If not, we got some other special things planned for you. So without further ado, let's get into something we've missed the last few weeks. You know, I'm a big history buff out there, folks. And so we're going to do a little bit of this day in history. Let's go back in time, April 17th, all the way back in time. Let's see what happened back in history. Let's go to 1492. You know, back before Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue, he signed a contract with Spain. And, of course, on this day was when he signed that contract, 1492. 1534, Sir Thomas More was shoved up in the Tower of London to see no more. 1817, first U.S. school for the deaf was started, and that was up in Hartford, Connecticut. We had a bread revolt in Savannah, Georgia in 1864, and that was quite the ordeal. 1920, American Professional Football League forms, and, of course, that's the precursor to the NFL, the AFL, and the NFL. So back in 1920, just think that Pepsi commercial with those guys in the leather hats. 1937, debut of Daffy Duck, Elmer Fudd. A couple of my favorite Looney Tunes, Daffy Duck and Elmer Fudd. 1937, they came out, and they're still funny today as far as I'm concerned. In fact, some of the most hilarious cartoons, I do believe, are the Looney Tunes, Bugs Bunny and Company. And yes, I'm just a big kid at heart. 1964, first game at Shea Stadium. The Mets, what did they do? Of course, they lost to the Pittsburgh Pirates 4-3. And then, of course, the Mets continued to lose for the rest of our lives. 1964, Ford Mustang was formally introduced. You know what it cost for that base model back in 1964 for that Ford Mustang? $2,368. Not too bad. We'd love to see that price again, but we won't. In my opinion, by the way, 60s, 70s, and 80s models were fine. 90s models and newer Ford Mustang, horrible. They just, my opinion, they suck. And honestly, the quality got worse. You know, once you got past, say, the 70s, maybe I'll even give them the 80s, but once you got past into the 90s, the quality of that Mustang, in my opinion, horrible. And the looks, horrible. Yeah, my opinion. 1969, Sirhan convicted of assassinating U.S. Senator Robert Kennedy. Of course, that was 1969. The decade of turmoil and a tough time in our history for sure. 93, 2 L.A. police officers convicted in federal court of violating, of course, whose civil rights? Well, that would be Mr. Rodney King. We all remember Rodney King. This was back in the 90s. And those cops, well, they were quite aggressive, weren't they, just to say the least? He beat the civil rights right out of him. And they got what they deserve. They were convicted in federal court. 1997, John Bell. Okay, you may not know that name, but he got a pacemaker. And why is this a big deal? Because he was 115 years old, and he got a pacemaker at 115, and it was successful. And so that was pretty interesting. And getting on into the current time frame, 2011, huge fans out there for the Game of Thrones, and that premiered on HBO, and of course, big fans of the books out there, and those are massive 1,200 page books. And 2011, Game of Thrones came out. I'm a little behind on Game of Thrones. I love the series. I have not read the books, but I'm about, I think 2 seasons behind. And but heck, Game of Thrones is pretty darn awesome. By the way, speaking of books, and folks, that wraps up this day in history. That was back in time, April 17th. But speaking of books, we got some really big news, really big news. For our entertainment segment coming up next week, that's the 24th, Sunday. And you know we're live 8 to 9 a.m. every Sunday. Next Sunday, the 24th, entertainment segment, we've got New York Times best-selling author James Rollins is going to be calling into the show. We're going to be spending some nice time on the show talking to him about his upcoming book. And then, of course, talking about some of his other series as well. I'm a huge fan of the Sigma series. If you haven't read those, I'm telling you, you are missing out. But he's a master storyteller. You know, he mixes current events, cutting edge technology, things we haven't even really thought about yet or are very obscure, and just weaves them into one heck of a tale. By and large, these thrillers. And so super excited. Next week, we're going to be talking to him. We're going to be talking to him for maybe 20 to 30 minutes. Really nice segment talking to him, calling in. And we're going to be talking about his upcoming book. So tune in next week for the James Rollins segment on our entertainment segment. We're going to have some fun with that. Folks, little bit about real estate real quick. You know, it's super tough market out there. And we actually have a couple stories that have been out about this as well. We'll kind of get to here in a little bit. But if you're trying to buy something under $200,000, holy cow, it's very, very difficult right now. Particularly as you get even closer to $150,000, and that type of buyer, you're starting to get edged out of this market here in DFW, and it's not something that we've seen. Obviously, our home values have always been fairly conservative. It's why, we were well protected when the bubble burst, and when the crash happened. Most of us were not overextended in as far as our values, what we paid for our homes, the loans we put on our homes. Now were we affected here in DFW? Yes, we were certainly, but not to the extent the rest of the nation was. And it's by and large because we're fairly conservative and have kept our home values fairly well in line. Now, of course, with high property taxes, much due to high school taxes that we're very friendly on because we all want $80 million football stadiums for our high school football teams. But, we want to keep those property taxes as reasonably in check as we can. And so keeping our property values from getting too outrageous helps us do that. But right now what's going on is because of the influx of folks moving in to the DFW area. And if you haven't noticed, your commutes may be getting a little longer every day, every morning and in the afternoon. And you're seeing all the out-of-state plates. Well, you've been hiding under a rock, or maybe you get to work from home, which is cool. More and more people are working from home. I work from home a lot myself, but it's getting busier here on these highways. And I'd say freeways, but they're no longer free because we're pretty much all toll roads now. It costs you $16 to get from one side of town to the other one way. Round trip, it costs you more than what it costs to put into your gas tank these days. But don't get me started on that. But it's getting harder, folks, to find something for y'all under $200,000. So not that we can't find you something. It's just getting more difficult. You're going to have to be ready to really look hard for those properties that have been on market a little bit longer, and you're going to have to accept the fact that you're not getting exactly what you want necessarily at $200 and below, especially at that $150 and below. And, if you come to me looking for something at $100, $125, get ready for a long process. We can get it done. We can make it happen. But even at that $200, it's tough right now, folks. We got to look at properties that are on market longer. Maybe they've got some carpet needs to be redone, needs to be updated totally throughout the property. You need to accept some of those things and just either accept you're going to have to be a renter and stay a renter, or that you're going to have to do a little bit of work on some of these homes just to get into a home. That's just the way it is right now, and you're going to have to accept that. Also, in the meantime, save, because guess what? So many clients are getting beat out by the client that can put 20% down. That's how competitive it is right now, because a lot of times you're having to overbid, and that 20% buys down the property to where you don't have to worry about the appraisal so much. Really tough out there, folks. So think about that. Hey, you know what? We're going to take a short break, and we're going to come on back and talk mortgage talk. See you in a few.
Living in the DFW area, expansive clay soil and extreme weather conditions play havoc on homes' foundation. But thankfully, you can turn to PermaPure Foundation Repair of Texas, who has successfully repaired over 20,000 properties and counting in the DFW area. With the most trusted, tried and true foundation repair methods, trust the professional staff of PermaPure Foundation Repair to take care of your property, and most repairs are backed by a lifetime transferable warranty. Mention Inside Real Estate Radio when calling PermaPure at 214-637-1444 or when booking online at permapure.com for your Inside Real Estate Radio discount.
The J.C. Harder Insurance Agency in Uptown Dallas has nearly unlimited resources when it comes to getting you the best insurance rates and policies for home, auto, and more. As part of the Goosehead Insurance brand, you, the consumer, have the power of choice through the J.C. Harder Insurance Agency Network. For a quote today on all your insurance needs, stop by J.C.'s office on McKinney Avenue in Uptown Dallas. Call 214-643-6108 or visit jcharderagency.com. That's 214-643-6108 or jcharderagency.com.
Now back to Inside Real Estate. Here's Mike the Realtor.
Hey, folks, we are back. It's Inside Real Estate with Mike Kruziniga. Time to do another mortgage segment with our resident expert in all things mortgage. Hey, Terry Wagner, how you doing today?
Good morning, Mike. I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing excellent. And hey, folks, by the way, if you want to call and talk to Terry anytime about all your mortgage, refinance, Texas cash out needs, 866-607-5667 is the number. And, of course, RockyMartin.com is the website. So let's talk some mortgage today.
Okay. I thought maybe today we would talk about one of our jumbo products.
Okay.
We have several jumbo products, but I thought this one was a pretty good one.
Well, let's do it.
To talk about. All right. So with this particular product, we can go up to $2 million for your loan amount. But obviously, as with anything, there are some restricted guidelines.
I hate guidelines. Gosh, dog it.
I know. Okay. This one, though, provides us with the option of no MI up to 90% loan to value. So that's a pretty good product because as we've mentioned before, no one really likes mortgage insurance.
No, absolutely.
So some of the just kind of key points to this, you can go up to 90% loan to value with no mortgage insurance on a fixed rate. You can do no mortgage insurance on an ARM up to 90%. That is on the 10-1 only ARM. We can do interest-only ARMs on this, and we can do a cash-out on this jumbo product.
Okay. Now let's so a 90-10. So we're talking 10% down on this.
That's correct.
We can actually get no mortgage insurance.
No mortgage insurance with just 10% down on a jumbo loan.
Okay.
And let's distinguish here because some folks don't necessarily know this.
Yes.
Jumbo is anything over a loan amount of $417,000.
Yeah.
Pricing is a little different on a jumbo loan. So in most instances, if I have a borrower that comes in with a loan amount that we can almost get to $417,000 with his 10% down or however much he's putting down, we may get a little creative, and keep the first lien below $417,000. Because when you keep that first lien below $417,000, you do not have to do a jumbo loan, and your pricing is going to be better.
Okay.
But when you get a little up there, $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 purchase prices, it makes it a little more difficult unless they're putting a large amount of money down to keep that loan amount below $417,000.
Right.
So this gives an option to someone who doesn't want the mortgage insurance. But one thing to keep in mind. Jumbo loans are going to take a little longer in underwriting, so we want to plan accordingly. We don't want, because in most cases we can close a loan in 3 weeks or less. That is not the case on a jumbo loan. We do need a little longer. Anything less than a loan amount of $470,000. I'm sorry, not $750,000 loan amount requires one full underwrite, and that's it. Over $750,000. I keep saying $450,000. I don't know why. Over $750,000. Not only do you have the full underwrite, but you also have to go to credit committee. Regardless of what the credit score is, you still have to. It's kind of like a second underwrite.
Okay.
We want to make sure that a loan amount that size is really done correctly, and everyone has crossed all the T's and dotted all the I's.
Yeah, and that's understandable. It's going to be a higher risk loan, of course, jumbo loan, higher end property. Make sure absolutely.
Right.
T's are crossed, I's are dotted.
That is correct. We can do a 15, 20, or a 30-year mortgage on the fixed rate product only. If we're doing the no MI up to 90%, only a 30-year mortgage. They're not going to. You can certainly pay it off faster if you want,
sure.
But you can only do the 30-year mortgage fixed.
Okay.
Let's see. Eligible borrowers. You've got your U.S. citizen, your permanent resident alien, your non-permanent resident alien. No foreign nationals on this product. We do have loan options for foreign nationals, just not on the jumbo products.
Okay.
Credit scores, the dreaded credit scores. If you are above a 70% loan to value, you need a 710 credit score. If you're between 65 and 70, you need a 700. And if you're below 65% LTV, loan to value, you need just a 680. With loan amounts greater than $1 million, you need a 720.
Okay.
And I think that's only rightfully so.
Yeah. Yeah, you would think that if you're buying a property in that price range, that your score should probably reflect that it's pretty good.
That is correct.
Although there are some cases out there where a score might not be so good. Maybe self-employed, and some of that credit goes to your individual
business
credit report, and sometimes that hits there. But by and large, your credit should be looking pretty good if you're in that price range.
Well, and as we've mentioned before too, we can certainly help you with your credit score if it's not where it needs to be.
Yes, we can. If your credit score is if you can afford the jumbo loan home and your credit score is a little low, we will figure out a way to help boost it up, won't we?
We will get it done, won't we, Mike? Okay, and for the no MI fixed product, you have to have a 710, and for the interest-only ARMs, you have to have a 720. There's not a huge demand for the ARM loans anymore. Those were big several years back, but there's just not a lot of folks who want to do them. But they are still available for those that do. A lot of people do the ARMs for like short-term options.
Right.
If they know that their job is going to move them on a regular basis every 2 to 5 years, they may do an ARM, and that seems to work out really well for that type of borrower.
Yeah. I mean, it's great for the one that needs it, and just like you say, you're going to probably be there a few years and move. And,
right.
Because a lot of people, they don't want to just rent for a few years. They do like that home ownership feel. Even if they're just going to be there for a year. They say, I want my own home, whether it's a year, 2 years, or even longer. Mm-hmm. And so, great product for them.
Right, exactly. Okay, max debt-to-income ratio on this product is a 43%. So, we should be safe in most instances there, but, we have to hold fast to that 43% debt ratio.
Okay. And that is a factor, sometimes with clients that are going to be in that ballpark range with the jumbo loans, they also have other higher payments, higher car payments than the typical average person, other debts as well. So we do have to watch that debt-to-income ratio. Right.
And in this product, just like with any other product, it's so important to get that pre-qualification up front. Just because you're a jumbo buyer doesn't preclude you from making sure that everything fits where it's supposed to fit. And so it's so important for us to review tax returns on a jumbo loan because that can get kind of sticky sometimes. So, very important on this product.
And that buyer often can be over-leveraged as well.
Right.
And so we definitely need to get you, you think that you're in that, ballpark price range and you're away from everything. Well, you still have to go through the process, and particularly if you're one of those people that's a little bit on the over-leveraged side,
right?
We really need to go through everything with you.
Okay. Appraisals. Anything under $1 million loan amount just requires one full appraisal. Anything over $1 million requires 2 full appraisals. And what's going to happen there if the appraisal amount comes out different on one or the other? We're going to take the lower. Okay. So two full appraisals required on over $1 million.
Okay.
In order to, I think I mentioned at the top of this segment that we could do up to $2 million on this product. In order to do a $2 million loan amount, the max loan to value is 75%. So we can do 90% up to a $900 loan amount, 85% to $1 million. 80% loan to value at 1.5, and then 75% on the $2 million loan. Okay. That is on your primary residency, either on a purchase or a refinance. When you move to a second home or investment, things like that, it's going to be a little different. But that's on your primary residence, either a purchase or a refinance. Okay. Let's see. Footnotes. We have got up to loan amounts up to $1.5 million is primary resident only. Okay, that's the max for your primary residency. 80% loan to value is only available on 1 unit properties. So that's probably not a big issue for most.
Right.
And we talked about up to a 90% loan to value. Max loan amount is 90%. And then interest-only ARMs for your purchase and rate and term refinances. You can only go up to a $650 loan amount on an 80%, million on 75%, and 1.5 on the 65%.
Very good.
Okay. And then one other thing to keep in mind that we haven't really touched on is the interest rate. There are lots of adjustments that go along with pricing a jumbo loan. So, again, that's why I mentioned at the top of this that if possible, we try to keep them within conforming rates. And by saying that, I mean that we could look at doing a second lien to keep their first lien at 417 or less. But if that's just not something that fits, we can certainly do the jumbo.
Okay. Very good. Well, folks, lots of great options there for your jumbo products here over at Supreme Lending Rockwall. Hey, the website is RockyMartin.com, Rocky with an I-E, RockyMartin.com. Phone number 866-607-5667, 866-607-5667. Call Terry Wagner direct for all of your mortgage needs, refinance needs, Texas cash out needs. And of course, if you're doing jumbos, looking at that ballpark range, those are some great products for you right there. Another great segment with Terry. Terry, we'll see you next week.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Hey, folks, Inside Real Estate, Mike Kruziniga. We'll be back in a few.
Sellers, how would you like your home sold guaranteed? Buyers, how would you like your bid guaranteed to win? Well, it's real simple. Call Mike Kruziniga with Chris Arnold Premier Realty and ask about their guarantee programs for both buyers and sellers. No one beats Mike's professional listing and marketing services for all price ranges, including luxuries and ranches. And few have the knowledge and patience to take first-time buyers from renting to home ownership in a tough market. Visit DFWMetroplexRealestate.com and mention you heard this on the radio. And listen to Mike Sundays, 8 a.m. on KLIF for Inside Real Estate.
With decades of experience, the Rocky Martin Supreme Lending Team will work to close your home loan in 30 days or less. With access to the most competitive interest rates, the most financing options, and the most access to down payment assistance programs, the Rocky Martin Team won't be beating service to you for all your mortgage needs, including purchase and refinance. Trust RockyMartin.com and his team for their reliable and fast loan process. Go to RockyMartin.com or call 972-772-1866 today.
For housing lender, NMLS ID number 211731, 6730 Horizon Road, Suite B, Heath, Texas, 75032.
Living in the DFW area, expansive clay soil and extreme weather conditions play havoc on homes' foundation. But thankfully, you can turn to Perma-Pure Foundation Repair of Texas, who has successfully repaired over 20,000 properties and counting in the DFW area. With the most trusted, tried and true foundation repair methods, trust the professional staff of Perma-Pure Foundation Repair to take care of your property, and most repairs are backed by a lifetime transferable warranty. Mention Inside Real Estate Radio when calling Perma-Pure at 214-637-1444 or when booking online at permapure.com for your Inside Real Estate Radio discount.
Now back to Inside Real Estate. Here's Mike the Realtor.
Hey, folks, we are back. It's Inside Real Estate with Mike Kruziniga. InsideRealEstateRadio.com is the website, InsideRealEstateRadio.com. It is time for another flooring segment with our resident expert of all things flooring install. IdealFloors.com is the website. Phone number 214-789-0422. By the way, that's the cell phone number of the owner, who is right here with us in studio, Kevin Hamus. Kevin, how's it going?
Actually, it's going pretty good, Mike. I'm glad to be back and talk about flooring again.
Good. Well, it's good to see you again. Last time we saw you, you had an injury, and that piece of the building fell down on you.
Yeah, it's a bit, believe it or not. I didn't think it was. I thought I had torn a rotator cuff and it wasn't going to get better, but it's really pretty much back to normal now. So I'm glad that is.
Very, very good. Well, we're glad you're 100% back and running. And I know we're going to talk a little bit about a program we have talked about before, but it's extremely important to you and to your heart and to what you do, the Ideal Floors Gives Back program. So let's tell the folks about that a little bit more again.
Yeah, I really want to talk about that because that is really the purpose of Ideal Floors. Ideal Floors isn't here as a business to make money. Our Ideal Floors is here to be a ministry to the community. And the one way that we do it is through our Ideal Gives Back program. And in that, we find homeowners, or we ask people to recommend homeowners that are possibly single moms, elderly, people that are long-term illnesses. Those are really people that we're focusing on. And it's people who can't afford to change their flooring now, and it probably doesn't look like it's going to be able to be done in the future. They need to own their house, and if they have a mortgage, they need to be current on their payments, because we don't want to put flooring in for some reason they're in financial condition where they may end up losing the house.
Right.
But that's just really been on my heart. Believe it or not, I wake up almost every day thinking about doing this, because I don't feel like we're doing enough. We want to give away, the goal is to give away 10 houses a month. And the way it works is we give, you go on our website, idealfloors.com, and then you click on Ideal Gives Back, and there's an application to be filled out. What the application is then checked out. I call the applicants. You can recommend yourself, or you can recommend a family. But I contact them, discuss their situation to see if they really qualify. Because sometimes there's people who they hear about this and they think, oh, I get free flooring. So they don't understand the principle. They just call in, their carpet's kind of worn, so they want free flooring and think they can.
Right. So
we try and narrow it down to the people who really, really need flooring. I mean, a lot of people we've done their flooring's been 20 or 30 years old and just completely wore out.
Yeah, just shot.
Or they might have had a flood and the insurance wasn't enough to cover everything, so they ended up just taking out the flooring and they're living on concrete. So, but it's something that's, like I said, it's really, really on my heart to do this, and I don't feel like we're doing enough of it. So if you know someone who's in desperate need of flooring, that's number one. They have to be in desperate need of flooring, and that they can't afford it now, and they doesn't look like they're going to be able to afford it in the future. We want to know about those people because we want to do everything we can.
Right.
We're currently working right now where a guy had a double lung transplant. So, he's just out and his house is all a mess, and, and a lot of other people are pitching in, and then we're going to pitch in the carpet to be able to do the carpet for him.
Wow. That's huge. Well, folks, this is really big, and if you could see us talking about this, and if you could see Kevin talking about this, it really does really touch him at his heart, and it weighs heavily on him that he wants to do this for people out there. And so if you do know somebody out there that is in need of flooring, whether it be a colleague at work, somebody from church, maybe a neighbor down the road, good friend, family member, refer them to Kevin. We give you Kevin's cell phone number, and again, that's 214-789-0422. You can go to idealfloors.com, check out the website, and fill out the application. But and this is not just trying to get somebody some free flooring. When somebody's in serious need of some help, and Kevin's offering this help. And you're right, there's a lot of folks out there that are on fixed income, single moms, elderly, and if something does happen that's tragic, then, they may be left without flooring for whatever reason. And particularly, families with kids, it really impacts kids as well. You'd be surprised about that. Maybe kids are embarrassed. They don't want to have friends over. And so it does impact everyone, actually. And so I think it's a really huge thing that you're doing.
Also, the one thing I did forget to mention was the way this works is if they're nominated and we choose to help them, they get $1,500 worth of product and installation, from anything they pick from. So it's like giving them a $1,500 gift certificate, and they can come in and just spend it and buy flooring. Carpet's the one that goes the furthest because it's the cheapest flooring. Mm-hmm. Sometimes people they don't want carpet. They want just a hard surface. Well, they're only able to do a section of their house because it's so much more expensive.
Right.
So that's, one thing I wanted to cover. You were talking before about kids. This is not uncommon that this happens, that the single mom has been very active in church and she wasn't, when she was in church, she may have gone through a divorce, stayed very active in church, but didn't have any money to keep care of her home. So, she used to have people over, and she used to be really hospitable, and they have people over. But now that the divorce is, and the house is kind of deteriorated, she doesn't want to have anybody over because she's embarrassed the condition of the house.
Right.
And also, I've been told many times that the kids won't invite anybody over because they're embarrassed of the house.
Right.
So that's another reason that we do it, and just, again, we just really want to help people out. Yeah,
and whatever, folks, you do out there is your occupation. You if you're like, Kevin and I, you strive to, help folks out there where you can, when you can, through your occupation, if you can. And Kevin's way of doing that is through this Ideal Floors Gives Back program, among many of the ways that, you do. And through your occupation, through the company that you own, you're able to do this. And, it's such a huge, huge program, and you care so much about it. Folks, whether you know somebody out there or know somebody who knows somebody out there, make sure they're aware of this program. Make sure next time you're at church, you're thinking about, did I talk to anybody recently, or did I hear a story recently in church where maybe somebody does need some flooring, so that we can get them connected with Kevin, because he does want to help, absolutely. And then, of course, if you're in a good position yourself, or you're talking to other folks and they're looking at flooring, this is probably the person you want to look at as far as taking care of all your flooring needs. Absolutely, because look what he's doing for the folks out there that can't afford it.
I guess you've said it all. It's again, that's why we're in business, is to just minister to people and just do what the Lord is telling us to do.
Mm-hmm. It's really good. Folks, it's nice to work with people that, want to help, in addition to not only running a great company, providing great service, a product at great prices. Those are all staples of doing great business. And but to kind of go above and beyond it, to do this as well, kind of separates you, I think, from the competition for sure, and separates you from, other people in other industries as well that are not doing those types of things. Folks, by the way, we were talking to Kevin Hamus, owner of Ideal Floors. The website is idealfloors.com. The phone number is 214-789-0422. Guess who answers that phone, by the way? It is Kevin himself, because it is his cell phone. And yes, we are giving you a real live cell phone number that you can call, and that is his number. If you're thinking about doing flooring, any remodeling at all, this is the guy to talk to. And, of course, if you know someone in desperate need, he's also the guy to talk to. Folks, it's Inside Real Estate. Mike Kruziniga. We'll be back in a few.
Would you like the security of a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage refi with our lowest payment possible, all without paying closing costs? Well, Cash Call Mortgage has a 30-year rate special starting at a rate so low, our lawyer won't let us say it on the radio. So call and find out how much this 30-year rate will cut your monthly payment while still knocking down your current loan balance. And the best part of all is the rate is fixed. The lawyer's right. It's a little complicated to explain on the radio. So call 855-875-CASH to find out how it works.
What? You'll cut my payment with no fees of any kind, and my balance will still go down?
Yep. Paying an interest rate below 3% really makes a big difference. To find out how big, just call 855-875-CASH. That's 855-875-CASH to slice your monthly payment now.
Impact Mortgage Corp. DBA Cash Call Mortgage. 1 City Boulevard, Orange, California, 92868. Equal housing lender. Call 855-657-9910 for licensing terms and restrictions. NMLS 128231. Offer for first mortgage.
That's 855-875-CASH.
Now back to Inside Real Estate. Here's Mike the Realtor.
Hey, folks. Inside Real Estate, Mike Kruziniga, 2 cats and a dog. Welcome back. Time to get into a little more real estate talk. If you tuned in last week, by the way, for our sports segment, we had head coach Fred Williams from the WNBA team Dallas Wings here live in studio. We had a great interview with him. It's posted on the website, InsideRealEstateRadio.com. So if you missed that, check it out. Really good interview with him, and hope you catch that. And by the way, the Tulsa Shock moved down here to Dallas to become the Dallas Wings, and they're playing over at UTA Arlington, and the season starts up here very shortly. And we actually still have a 4-pack of tickets to give away. So if you do want to call in, 888-787-KLIF, 888-787-KLIF. So if you're listening out there and you're a fan of the WNBA, and hey, look, if you're a basketball fan, you're a basketball purist, you definitely want to go out and check out the WNBA, because just great basketball going on, and they're right here in the sports capital of the world, near Jerry's World, and the ballpark right there in Arlington, playing at UTA. So why don't you catch a Dallas Wings game? The website, DallasWingsBasketball.com. And, of course, we've actually still got some tickets to give away for you. So if you want to call in, catch those, 888-787-KLIF. And let's get into a little bit of real estate. I got some headlines going on. I got lots and lots of headlines to talk about. Lots of stories to bring your way. And, unfortunately, JC didn't make it into the show. We were going to do some insurance talk, but he couldn't make it in this morning. So that's all right. We'll catch up with him next week. Hey, have you ever wanted a castle? Well, let me clarify that. Have you ever wanted a castle under $100,000? Well, you can get one. It's right on Lake Chelan, up in Washington State. And it's a whopping 288 square feet, and it's $89,000. Now, this is a heck of a deal. I think we should just, buy it right now. It's built on the side of a cliff, right close to the lake waters, maybe 50 feet, 60 feet above the lake waters. Only accessible by boat, or you can swim if you like. And under $100,000. I mean, who can beat that? However, it does honestly look like just a turret off of a normal castle, and it was replanted here. So there's a lot of great pictures that we're going to put on the Pinterest page for that. By the way, we're all over the internet with Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff. But our Pinterest page, which you can click over to through our website, is actually pretty cool because there's so many photos on there. And there's actually some super funny photos of this little mini castle on there. So that'll be fun. You should check that out, InsideRealEstateRadio.com. Hey, ever wanted a hot tub and a tower on your house? Well, this is a very special tower created specifically to hold a hot tub, and it's connected to a house. It's like on the third floor, just a hot tub and just vistas, beautiful vistas of Utah. And it's only $9 million. It comes with a very nice home, I suppose. And just a huge property, 113-acre property over in Utah. About $8.95 million will get it for you. But also, you get the hot tub tower. And you know what? I'd probably buy it just for the hot tub tower. I think I would do that. Hey, if your thing is late homes, built, say, back in the late 1800s, here's an 1872 mansion that's darn near pretty close to original. Obviously, some upgrades, of course. 1872, you can't not do some updates. But you'll get that for about $2 million, located in Winchester, Virginia, about 4.2 acres in the Shenandoah Valley, and so about 10,000 square feet, a little bit underneath 10,000 square feet. Super nice property. $2 million will pick you that thing up if you're looking for that sort of thing. Hey, remember I've been telling you about this story about UDF. Been talking to you about it a few different times. UDF has decided to part ways with their New York advisor. Now, of course, us folks, as individuals, we have our financial advisors. Well, guess what? Corporations, even that are in the investment world, have their advisors too. And so UDF parting ways with their New York advisor. They just released a statement to the Securities and Exchange Commission about that, and they're letting them go, and they're going to be getting their advice from two affiliated entities. So basically, that's essentially saying they're bringing that in-house. Now, of course, we also told you a few weeks back that FBI raided their Grapevine offices, and they are currently under investigation. All of this brought forth because Dallas hedge fund CEO Kyle Bass started a campaign back in December against the firm. And, of course, UDF has lost hundreds of millions of dollars in stock value. They were up pretty darn close to about $20 a share. Last I looked, they were down around $3, $2 and change a share. May rapidly be going to penny stock, and then some would say they're at penny stock already. Of course, UDF says all the claims are unfounded. and that Bass's firm is just seeking to profit from its efforts. Either way, what Bass has launched since December has been one heck of a campaign, and of course it got the attention of the feds, and they're all up in UDF's business. And it'd be interesting to see what shakes loose if UDF really was involved in some improprieties or not. And but they are linked behind the scenes to a great deal of funding to many corporate projects, commercial building projects. We're talking major skyscraper, major subdivision building, major commercial and residential real estate projects behind the scenes. They're a huge part of the funding throughout their arms, throughout their tentacles that they have out there. So could be a lot going on with this, and I keep bringing this to your attention because it keeps we've got new stuff developing with it all the time. Catch our Pinterest page. There's links to these stories. And of course, you can always get that through the InsideRealEstateRadio.com website. InsideRealEstateRadio.com website. Catch that, and you'll get all the stories on that. We talked about the fact that there's a real squeeze on our residents right now, and we need both homes and we need rentals. And we are getting some more rentals. Former Bank of America building over on Ave B is actually going to be turned into some apartments. Going to be called the City Square Lofts. Of course, that building was built in 1973. And Green Extreme Homes is going to convert it, this office building, into the apartments. And it's actually going to be 70% affordable housing, though. So that's kind of a big surprise. 30% is going to be at market rate. They're looking at about 129 apartments that they're going to put in there. Looking at being completed in summer next 2017, so next summer. And but 70-30, 70 affordable and 30 market rate. That's kind of surprising. And City Square Lofts is what that's going to be called. And Green Extreme is going to make that conversion. So we're going to have a little more apartments coming there. Another project, 2 new rental communities coming with probably 1,000 additional residents coming down to the downtown Dallas Farmers Market District. Now, Alliance Residential is planning to open up next month on Broadstone, the Broadstone Farmers Market Project, looking at about 340 apartments. And this is kind of the southeast area downtown, of course. Rent starting about $1,175 a month, and of course it's very hard to see anything under $1,200 anyway. But those are going to be some more apartments coming our way as well, so that'll be helpful. Hey folks, we're going to take a short break. Then we're going to come on back. See you in a few.
The J.C. Harder Insurance Agency in Uptown Dallas has nearly unlimited resources when it comes to getting you the best insurance rates and policies for home, auto, and more. As part of the Goosehead Insurance brand, you, the consumer, have the power of choice through the J.C. Harder Insurance Agency Network. For a quote today on all your insurance needs, stop by J.C.'s office on McKinney Avenue in Uptown Dallas. Call 214-643-6108 or visit jcharderagency.com. That's 214-643-6108 or jcharderagency.com.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-467-1443. That's 1-800-467-1443. 1-800-467-1443. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop. You save. Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors not available in all states.
Now back to Inside Real Estate. Here's Mike the Realtor.
Hey folks, we're back. Inside Real Estate. Mike Kruziniga, welcome to the house. folks. InsideRealEstateRadio.com. InsideRealEstateRadio.com is the website. Hey, remember that website because you can connect to everybody here. You can connect to myself. You can connect to Sam, all of our guys here. Of course, you can connect to all of our partners through that website. And then also all the stories we talk about, you can bounce over from there to the Pinterest page and all the other stuff. Of course, catch up on past episodes, past shows, and especially catch that show from last week. Great interview. Fred Williams, WNBA head coach, Dallas Wayne. So catch that. We still have some tickets to give away, by the way. So if you want those tickets, give us a shout. 888-787-KLIF, 888-787-KLIF. We got a 4-pack of tickets to the upcoming WNBA game. We're going to do a few more headlines, folks, and these are going to be brought to you by our resident attorney who takes care of our law segments, Perry J. Cockrell. Website's perryjcockrell.com, 214-740-2521. One heck of a litigator, 28-year veteran Navy Reserve commander, and, of course, board certified here in the state of Texas, and all things legal. So you definitely want to remember him. Looks like we have maybe somebody calling in for those tickets. We're going to check and see about that. Let's do a couple of headlines real quick before we get there. Hey, you know the government is always late to the game, aren't they? They are late. This is an interesting story. All those homeowners that were underwater with their mortgages and all that jazz, well, they just came out with a program that's supposedly if you're 90 days or more delinquent on your mortgage, and of course it's guaranteed by Freddie or Fannie, or it's one of the government-backed loans, there's a program for you to help you to maybe stave off foreclosure. You know, they had some different programs that came out, of course, right when, you know, the issues really were happening. But, you know, now there's a program for that. And, you know, of course, isn't that like the government to just, you know, roll up in some red fire trucks right after your house burnt to the ground? We're here to help. So, interesting story. They only expect to help 33,000 people with this, by the way. You know, I don't know, there's only 370 million people in the nation, but hey, they're working on it anyway. I think we may have somebody. Okay, maybe we don't. Back to headlines. Hey, this caught my eye. A Cabo-inspired lagoon is part of a $1 billion project coming to the area. Texas developer Kent Donahue moving forward on plans to put this in over at Lake Ray Hubbard to anchor the $1 billion resort-anchored mixed-use development in Rowlett. And just seeing these really nice pictures of lagoons, they're going to put this in Rowlett, and this is pretty huge. You know, in all honesty, I mean, I love all things water, want to be around water as much as I can. This might actually draw me, you know, to move over to that side of town, honestly. You need to see the pictures on this article, folks. It's going to be known as Bayside. It's going to have an 8-acre lagoon. By the way, that's equivalent to roughly 10 football fields of water. And, of course, there'll be a large fountain and lots of things going on with it. But, you know, we're looking at a resort, marina, condo towers, luxury apartments, of course, single-family homes, more than 1 million square feet of office, retail, restaurant, entertainment space. You know, construction starting very shortly on this project. And you want to check out the pictures on this, and honestly, that could draw me to the other side of town. Hey, you know, we're getting new companies coming to Texas all the time, by and large from California, the West Coast, or Northeast. But quite possible, there's some rumors of Cargill moving to Texas, you know, Kansas-based. Well, Minnesota-based Cargill, but there's a huge plant and project unit there in Kansas, and it's quite possible it could be coming our way. The Meat Solutions Division looking for new digs, and they are currently in downtown Wichita, and they might be heading our way. Now, of course, folks up in Kansas aren't too happy about those rumors, and we could quite possibly just be in the leverage situation here for them to get a better deal where they're at. But quite possibly we're getting another company heading down this way. And, we're great thing is our economy's growing. We're bringing jobs like nobody's business, but we've got a lot of people moving in, and we're trying to find places for everyone to live too. Hey, have you ever heard of Copart? It's growing headquarters is down here, and they've got a new project that they're working on, Crashed Toys. It's an online auction specializing in the sale of used and repairable power sport vehicles. And they're opening a 30,000 square foot showroom here in Dallas, Crashed Toys. Now, this is part of the Copart company. And now in 2012, Copart moved to Farmers Branch, and they brought about 279 jobs here. Now, this is pretty interesting, called Crashed Toys, online auction specializing in the sale of used and repairable power sport vehicles. They got a 30,000 square foot showroom right here in Dallas. It's going to be over off John Carpenter at Quad 7777 John Carpenter. And so interesting business. And honestly, I might just stop by just to see what's going on. Crashed Toys is what it's called. It's piqued my interest anyway. And so I guess we'll check that out. Hey, folks, guess what? Next week, we're here 8 to 9 live every Sunday morning. We hope you make it a part of your every Sunday morning. Folks, Inside Real Estate, Mike Kruziniga. See you next week. Have a good one. Neither the hosts nor the guests or contributors of the show Inside Real Estate with Mike Kruziniga are attorneys, CPAs, tax advisors, or investment advisors, and are not providing legal advice during the course of the show. If you need professional legal advice or services in any of those categories, please seek the appropriate professional. The host is a licensed real estate agent in Texas with the Chris Arnold Premier Realty Brokerage, a fair housing broker and member of the MLS. Texas real estate agents are prohibited from providing legal advice.
The preceding program was furnished by K1 International, LLC, and is responsible for its content.
KLIF News and Information, keeping you informed around the clock every day. The resources of our local news team stays on top of the news as it breaks, and that means you are on top of the news. Traffic information every morning when you need it. Lock us in with traffic on the 5s at 5, 15, 25, 35, 45, and 55 past the hour. And it all comes your way from our home right in the nerve center of Dallas, Victory Park, next to the American Airlines Center. News and Information, 570 AM, KLIF.